Commission. We are located at 101 South Main Street in Joshua. I will go ahead and announce that, call this meeting to order and announce that we do have a quorum present. I'm going to move on to B, which is the Citizens Forum. The Planning and Zoning Commission invites citizens to speak on any topic. However, unless that item is specifically noted in the agenda, the Planning and Zoning Commission is required under the Texas Open Meeting Act to limit its response to responding with a statement of specific factual information, reciting the city's existing policy, or directing the person making the inquiry to visit with city staff about the issue. No commission deliberation is permitted, and each person will have 3 minutes to speak. We do have a public hearing tonight in regards to what some people signed up for. So if you'd like to speak then, if you don't, if you have something you'd like to speak tonight that's not on the agenda or something different, anybody's welcome to speak now. Otherwise, we'll call your name when we get to this item on the agenda. So, okay. We're moving right along to the regular agenda. Well, number one is to discuss, consider, and possible action on the September 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second. I got a motion in a couple seconds. All those in favor? All right. And we will open up at 6:31, the public hearing on a request for a replat regarding approximately 32.123 acres of land on the J.H. Cooper Survey Abstract Number 145, County of Johnson, Texas, located at 167 Trailwood Drive, to allow for a subdivision of the property and for the future construction of a new home. Well, Aaron, I'll let you speak on this, but I know the wording has some people confused. So if you can just kind of specify what we're discussing tonight.
Sure. This replat is just separating the 32 acres. It's creating 2 lots, and each will be 16 point something acres each.
Aaron,
And
could you speak a
yes,
little bit louder?
okay. So the current property is platted, and it's known as the Back 40 Addition. The property is zoned R1, single family residential. The proposed replat is to allow for subdivision of the property and the future construction of a new home. Again, I don't know if y'all heard, but the replat is essentially just separating or creating two separate lots, each at 16 and a little over acres each, and that's the total of properties that were part of these 2 individuals that totaled 32 acres. And so, and one owner is wanting to construct a home on their property, which they will only be allowed to construct 1 home.
So just to clarify, in case anybody had a hard time hearing him, the subdivision is kind of misleading. This is a property that's already platted as a R1 development. This is a replat of the 32 acres for 2 separate tracts of land. This is not a subdivision. One person is requesting to build a single home on the 16 acres. The other one right now has no plans to do anything as of this point. There are no multiple homes going in at this point. There's no subdivision or any other thing that has come across through us or to the city to suggest anything otherwise. They would have to go through a different process in order to put multiple homes on these properties. So I know a lot of here, subdivision is probably what got a lot of people here tonight, is dividing the property, but it is to 2 16-acre tracts of land, give or take a little bit. But that's essentially what it is, with one single family house going on one of the 16-acre properties. So that is all that is being brought to us tonight. And as of right now, that is the only thing that has ever been addressed over in that area. Not any type of subdivision or multiple housing has come across to anybody that we're aware of. So just want to specify that. Are the owners present? You care to get up and speak, or have you pretty well said? Okay. All right. Anybody here that wants to speak on that tonight? I do have 2. Dana Colton. Yes, ma'am. If you'll stand up and just state your name and address, and then you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Dana Thompson. I live at 121 Hillsbrook Road. I also own the property across from their property. What I saw on my phone was subdivision.
Mhm.
We've been through this before. And I just wanna make sure because Trailwood could not handle, nor Little Brook, handle any more than what we got, because we're already getting traffic from Mountain Valley. We just wanna make sure that nobody's trying to slide anything in there that we're not aware of.
Not tonight. Nope.
Because like I said, it's been tried before,
Yes, ma'am.
so. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. Mr. Walden,
Yes, sir.
you're up, sir.
Lynn Walden, 201 Trailwood. And this young lady just got through explaining what we went through before in 95. The way it was presented to us in our letter, it did mention subdivision, which brought back old memories. And I've talked to Rick, and he's going to build one house. And so far, as long as it stays that way with one house and split it, I'm good for it. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, sir. Was there anybody else that want to speak in favor or anybody that want to speak against tonight? Okay. Anything you want to add, sir? The owner? No? All right. On that note, yes, well, let me go ahead and close the public hearing. It's 6:36, and we'll move on to number 3, which is to discuss, consider possible action on the request for the replat regarding approximately 32.123 acres of land of the J.H. Cooper Survey, abstract number 145, County of Johnson, Texas, located at 167 Trailwood Drive, to allow for the subdivision of the property and for the future construction of a new home. So again, this is not anything trying to squeeze in where they're going to put some homes up next week or anything like that. There's a whole other ordinance. They would have to provide road frontage, they'd have to provide water infrastructure. There'd be a lot more that would have to happen and come through the city before that could happen. So I can assure you that there's no underlying development that's going in underneath what you guys are expecting, other than this guy wanting to build a house. So, and with that, any other questions or discussions for the commission? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
A second.
All those in favor? All right. Moving on to number 4, we'll open up another public hearing at 6:36. Public hearing to request for a conditional use permit regarding approximately 0.2930 acres of land in the original town of Joshua, Lot 4R, Block 11, City of Joshua, Texas, located at 107 North Main, Suite A, to allow for the use of an indoor amusement family arcade. Aaron?
The property is platted and the property is zoned in the Heritage Overlay District. The conditional use permit is to allow for the use of an indoor amusement family arcade. The purpose of the conditional use permit is to allow for review of uses which would not be appropriately generally without certain restrictions throughout a zoning district, but which, if controlled as to number, area, location, or relation to the neighborhood, would promote the health, safety, and welfare of the community. We have added the development standards for the business and also the site plan and elevation plan and also the arcade concept plans. The Heritage Preservation Board met today at 4, and they've made a recommendation for approval of the conditional use permit.
Are the owners present? You guys care to come up and say anything?
Hello, everyone. My name is Douglas Hampton. I was born and raised in Joshua, along with well, my wife wasn't. She might as well be now. So she works in Joshua ISD. And then Trey is my business partner. We grew up together in Joshua. My mom was a Joshua teacher for 38 years. I'm really excited to bring this concept that we've been trying to bring anywhere in Johnson County for this retro arcade. We've kind of modeled it after things that we like attending. There's one of these that's in Haltom City called the Electric Starship Arcade. And the concept is there's a lot of nostalgic games from the 80s and 90s, but that's not going to keep kids there. They're going to get bored with those games. So you kind of have to have a mix. So you're going to have some games that are more interactive. You know, like for instance, we have a 4-player Pac-Man machine where you sit down and you're kind of going against each other and trying to eat each other. That's just an example, right? So, kids love that. You would have some, like maybe like a basketball hoop, which, those are so big, we don't own that yet. But, you need things like that to keep the kids involved. But make no mistake, our big thing is we love pinball. So like we are definitely going to have a variety of pinballs, newer ones that we are going to run tournaments on and have community events and different things. We're also going to try to be a Stern Army location. And what that means is Stern is a company that makes a lot of the newer pinballs. And when you have so many of their machines, which we do, they give you prizes and stuff, and you can hand them out to people that enter the tournaments. You also get first dibs on any new games. So if people are into that environment, they're going to get to play the newest games with us because we're able to get them first. It's going to be a place where, for instance, like it's going to keep a lot of tax dollars and different things here in Joshua. We're going to have an area where people can rent out a birthday party room. It's going to be a lot more affordable than going to like a Alley Cats or a Main Event, because we're going to have concession style food. It's going to be very simple stuff like hot dogs, nachos. So a family of 4, just using them as an example, they can come in and this can be very affordable for them versus going to something like that, and it keeps it in Joshua. I also think it's a little bit more authentic because we really care about this stuff, and I care about the kind of atmosphere that it's going to create. And it is a family arcade, but at a certain time at night, we're looking at 9 o'clock right now. That's what a lot of these arcades do, where we won't have kids in there past 9. That also allows for people that are going on a date night or older. They may not want kids running around while they're experiencing that at night. And plus, I kind of don't think they may not need to be there, past that time. And so I'm trying to let people have the best of both worlds and have an atmosphere that suits everybody. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. It's something that we're really passionate about. It's something that started off with just some friends wanting to do this thing, and I'm really happy that it's landed here in the town that I'm from.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Good luck
Thank
to
you,
you.
sir.
I didn't have anybody that wanted to sign up to speak, but is there anybody out there that would like to speak in favor or against this conditional use permit? Okay. Then nothing to rebut there. So we'll close the public hearing at 6:42, and we'll bring it back to the here to discuss, consider possible action on approving the conditional use permit regarding approximately 0.2930 acres of land in the original town of Joshua, Lot 4R, Block 11, City of Joshua, Texas, located at 107 North Main, Suite A, to allow for the use of an indoor amusement family arcade. Any questions or deliberation? Or yes, sir.
Could I, yes, please. After reading through the information y'all supplied,
Yes, sir.
I think it's supposed to open at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
Yes, sir.
then the kids would be run off at 9,
Yes, sir.
and they would have a day use permit of like $15.
Yeah, so, and I'm glad you brought this up because I should have said this earlier. We're going to be a little bit revolutionary in the arcade game because most of these arcades, like if you go to a side arcade or you go to a free play, I'm going to use my mom as an example. If she was to take my 2 boys, they're going to charge my mother to go into that arcade even if she never touches a game. They're going to charge her $10 to $12. Okay. At ours, by the way it's set up, it's the old, the coffee shop, if you've been in there, it is a bar area. And so if you're a guy that comes in with your kids and it's college football Saturday and you don't care anything about those games, I'm not going to charge you to sit and hang out in this area. Now, if your kids want to go back there and play, like I would just charge them, they'll have a wristband system. You're going to have to get a little creative with that wristband system because people will try to abuse that, and come back on multiple days. So that's something we have to figure out. But it's also a smaller place that I think that, I'm going to have people working in there that are responsible. I'm going to be there all the time because I want people to see me. I'm a school counselor, so during the week I may not be there, but on the weekends, when you're in there, you're going to see me. So, yeah, that's pretty much, that's how we would keep it. It'd be a wristband type situation on who's paid and who hasn't.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're a school counselor.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have some kind of for lack of a better term, a code of conduct for the youth that will be in there? Are there gonna
Right.
be required chaperones for a certain number
Right.
of kids?
And that's something that we've discussed too, where like I'm bringing up Electric Starship again because the guy who owns that was kind of a mentor to us the past couple of years. He requires to have an adult with kids that come in there, and I think that that's probably the smartest move for us to keep things from getting out of hand. So that's kind of the policy that we're probably going to take. We're modeling a lot of our stuff after this man just because I like his arcade and I'm kind of replicating it because I think he's really good at it. So I'm going to probably stick with what he did. He has like adults, they can't just come in. It's not I'm dropping my kids off and I'll see you later and I come in and I get you 6-7 hours later. You know what I mean?
That was my concern,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that we're creating a daddy daycare for after school.
Right.
From
But I'm more than welcome for anybody that has a daycare if they want to rent out and they'll come in, then that's fine. But yeah, no, we won't do that.
Will it be a situation where the kids come in and once they're in, they're in?
Yeah, so what's really good about this floor plan is there's only really one way in, one way out. So when you walk in, it's got this hallway to the left and you really can't, we'll have a door how it's set up, there's the middle room where it'll be all the games. And then that back area, which I believe they were using as a kitchen back there, we're going to be moving that stuff there's a little area that's behind the bar area because we don't need a big kitchen because we're not doing crazy food, right? And so we're just going to move that there. And in the back, I would just have like partitioners, rolling partitioners. So if somebody on a Saturday was going to pay to have a birthday party there, I would just roll those out. They would take that left side back there. And that right side is always going to be where we store games because these games go out all the time, especially the pinballs. There's too many mechanisms. And so if a pinball is out on the floor, we're going to know that. If we can't fix it around the spot, we're going to move it and replace it with something else. So I've got to stick a lot of games there in the back too. But you really can't get out that way. Like I'm going to have it, there'll be a door. But you should be very confident if you're a parent and you decide I don't want to go back to that room, that they're not running off. They got to come back out the way they came in.
My concern was kids going out to the car, especially
Right.
15, 16-year-olds.
Right.
Going out to the car, doing something, coming back in.
Right.
I
I think that, so I think the good news about me, and that's something that I have to really convey with the people that I hire, is you have to be watching and you have to stay, vigilant on every situation because every situation is going to be different, especially with kids. I deal with them every day. So you have to be watching. We've got giant windows for a reason we can look out. So if somebody's doing something or you notice strange behavior and they're constantly in and out, but they should be there with their parent too. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a case by case basis on how you handle it in a way where you're not being accusatory either, but you're noticing there's some strange behavior here and you have to address it, but not address it in a bad way,
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, then I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay. It's unanimous. Is there anything else? If not, we are adjourned at 6:49. Thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you.
Sorry it wasn't more exciting.